My name is Jacqueline Passman and I'm the editor of A Cool Head in Hell, which is based on my father's wartime diaries. My father was a prisoner of war of the Japanese, and as children we only knew he'd been a prisoner of war, didn't know anything else, apart from the fact that my mother used to say, your father would have been very glad of this meal when he was a prisoner. I was round at their house one day and he said, I've something to show you. And he got down this old suitcase from the top of his wardrobe, and inside it was like a treasure trove. I'd never seen anything like it. There were diaries, photographs, memorabilia of the war. He was at Leeds Grammar School and then he studied at Leeds Medical School, and when war broke out he was actually a member of the British Expeditionary Force in France and was present at Dunkirk, ferrying injured people, going over the sands backwards and forwards to the boats. They set sail down the coast of America and they thought they were headed for North Africa. But on December the 7th, the Japanese bombed Pearl Harbor and other places of strategic importance, and so they were rerouted to Singapore. He arrived with his division 10 days before Singapore fell, and the diaries start then. I've explained quite a lot about prison conditions in Changi, but they were there for just over a year before they were sent up country. That's the way Dad described it. There was the final group to go and work on the Burma-Thai Railway, and they were sent to the most northern camps. And if ever there was a description of hell, that was it. My father, as a doctor, wasn't actually fighting, but what he had to cope with, one of the things that he absolutely hated, the Japanese insisted on having a certain number of men to go out and work on the railway, and they would come into the hospital where Dad was in charge and say they wanted 60 men, and Dad would say they can't go, they're too ill, and they would get their bayonets out and point them at the patients and make them get out. The veterans, and there aren't many of them left, feel very much they were the forgotten army. People know a lot about the war in Europe, very little about the war in the Far East, and there's a very good reason for that, because when they were on the ship coming back, being repatriated, they were all issued with an order not to talk about it. The order said that the war in Europe has been over, people are getting on with their lives, they don't want to hear your tales, and it's horrendous to think that they weren't allowed to talk about it. He was a very optimistic person. He had a great sense of humour, misplaced sometimes, and I think that was what had kept him going through the war.